what are your top five predictions, hopes, whatever you want for the new White House administration?
Fine. That's a lot. Can I give you three?
You can give me three. I
Okay.
mean, if you're really smart, you'd give me five.
I'm not that smart. Okay. So number one would be I think there's the opportunity. The Chinese economy is in a bit of a mess, and they want Taiwan. I think he strikes a grand bargain to allow trade and balance the trade better, and give them Taiwan over a period of time, and navigate that tension and have it dissolved by creating a master deal. I think he does the same in Russia and Ukraine. And so I think there's an opportunity, and my prediction is that they use their saber rattling capability to change these political conflicts because it'll put them in history books as a changing the global order. So that's number one. Number two would
So he's
be
playing a giant game of Risk, like the board game where you're taking.
that's right. And what's the oldest one? Never do a land war in Asia. If you ever played Risk,
That's true.
You said
That's the last place you go.
You never do a land war. So like cut a deal. The second one would be the opportunity for crypto to change the game in a bunch of areas. I would predict he will allow crypto to the level of having a UBI type scheme for crypto that could benefit the entire population and be a beacon to the rest of the world as to where this goes.
Universal basic income.
Yeah, and the trick is how do you give people enough money to survive but not be happy? Because then it really works. Otherwise, you end up at socialism and the whole thing collapses if you give people too much money. And the third thing would be given what's happening in LA, there's an opportunity to redo the housing code stack such that if you need to build urgent structures quickly, you can ignore all the housing codes and just get it done so that people can get by and rebuild on their own property, quick, fast-built 3D printed houses or whatever, so they can get moving that last a few years while they rebuild their own houses. And I think a rapid hacked building housing code would totally change the game for rebuilding, not just there, but anywhere. North Carolina, for example, after the floods, etc. So those are my three predictions.
Amazing.
That will come out of this. My third one is that given the disaster in LA and the need to rebuild, that the Trump administration comes up with a housing code hack that allows people to build temporary structures on their properties so that they can live on their own property while they rebuild a main house or neighbor's house they can live in, and an ability to have a temporary housing code that lasts like a year or two, that you can at least get something up and going very, very quickly. And that would completely change the game for LA and also what's happening in North Carolina and the next ones to follow.
All right. I'm going to give you five because that's what I asked for originally.
Okay.
You can still come back with a few more.
Sure.
So I think Trump is going to do stuff which is great for America and great for him.
Not in that order.
So being the president that put humans back on the moon, that's easy. We're going to see humanity on the moon in a couple of years. I do think he's going to make a massive push, given the fact that Elon's in the White House too, to put humans on Mars. Boots on Mars. I said they're going to be
I like it.
Optimus robots on Mars. But I think we're going to see a massive increase in the space program as part of this. The second thing I think we're going to see is a huge deregulation in the biotech industry. Biotech has been one of the most regulated industries. It crushed the biotech financial markets over the last 4 years. A lot of folks I know need to leave the US to go get experimental treatments or get stem cells. I think we're going to change that. At the same time that we're deregulating biotech, I think we're going to massively re-regulate foods. So I think with Bobby Kennedy and head of Health and Human Services, I think we're going to stop the insanity which is our food system right now. At least I hope we do. I mean, here's a chance to finally do what's right for our health. I mean, I look at the numbers. We're something like 74th in the world in life expectancy and like 73rd in health span expectancy and number one in expenditures on food. I'm sorry, number one in expenditures on health.
Yeah, 70% of the population is overweight or obese.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's not because we just got hungry all of a sudden. It's because the food, the bullshit that we're feeding our kids and ourselves. So I think we're going to regulate foods and change this dramatically. Make America healthy again. I think that's going to be the mantra. I think we're going to do that. The next thing I think was we're going to see a massive push for energy independence. We'll talk about this later, but I think we'll see the White House basically open the floodgates, reducing regulation and red tape, enabling hopefully, mostly solar and fission plants. I think we're going to have, unfortunately, a fair share of coal plants as well. But we need to double the energy productivity of this country for sure. So energy at all costs, I think, is going to be one of the hallmarks of this White House. I hope, given Sachs and the AI tech bro posse in there, we're going to use AI to evaluate all the policies that we're running. And how do we make regulation more efficient? We'll talk about this a little bit later in the episode as well. Right now, if you, whatever industry you're in, you got 5,000 regulations you got to go through, enough lawyers and paperwork. There's got to be some way for AI to make it simplified and still safe. So I think for me, those are them. I think we'll become a crypto first country. I think that ultimately we will embrace crypto and Bitcoin in a massive fashion over these next 4 years. And we'll see if the dollar is going to stand 30, 40 years from now, but I guarantee you Bitcoin will. And if we can make that part of our national reserves, so much the better.
I like all of them. I hope they all come true. Those are awesome.